What seemed like a chapter closed at the end of the last transfer window could be about to take a new and thrilling turn. Mark Guehi, Crystal Palace's standout defender and a long-standing target of Liverpool, is once again the centre of attention at Anfield, and this time all signs suggest that the winds are finally blowing in the Reds' favour. Under the guidance of manager Arne Slot, Liverpool are laying out bold plans to overhaul their defence, with Guehi emerging as a key piece in this puzzle. The deal, which previously fell through over seemingly minor details, could be revived in full force, turning the start of 2025 into a turning point for the club. Over the summer, everything appeared aligned for Guehi to don the red shirt. Liverpool had reached an agreement with both the player and Crystal Palace, and the expectation was that the announcement was only a matter of time. However, Palace stalled the last-minute talks, not due to a lack of interest in selling, but out of sheer desperation at being unable to find a replacement worthy of their captain in such a short period. When the window closed, the Reds were just inches away from securing the final piece that Arne Slot so desired for his backline, and Palace ended up holding on to their leader out of pure necessity. But the situation has changed drastically since then. Guehi's contract is edging towards its conclusion, and if Palace do not act, they face the real risk of losing him for free in July. That factor alone heightens the urgency for the London club's board to profit from the player before it is too late. And Liverpool, as alert as ever, see this as the perfect opportunity to resume talks and this time finalise the deal without complications. Inside Anfield, the feeling is that everything is falling into place at the right moment, and Guehi's potential arrival has attained top priority for January. This movement is no accident. Arne Slot is overseeing a strategic transition in defence. Part of this plan also involves a potential change regarding Ibrahima Konate, whose contract expires next summer and who has sparked strong interest from Real Madrid. According to recent reports, the Spanish club is preparing an offensive as early as January, aiming to persuade the Reds to release Konate within this season. Should this scenario materialise, signing Guehi would cease to be merely an attractive idea and become an urgent necessity. Slot, seeking a more solid and reliable defence, would view the Palace defender as the ideal replacement to maintain the team's balance. Meanwhile, another parallel development is heating up behind the scenes. AC Milan, who had already attempted to prize Joe Gomez from Anfield over the summer, are reportedly considering a renewed push in January. At the time, their attempt was hindered by the short time frame and Liverpool's ongoing efforts to complete Guehi's transfer, but the Italians' interest remains alive. With two European football powerhouses keeping a close eye on Liverpool's current defenders, the Merseyside club's board knows they cannot afford to lose key pieces without guaranteed reinforcements. This is precisely why Guehi stands out as such a strategic target. He would not just be a heavyweight signing, but also a preventative move against possible departures. What makes this story even more fascinating is the potential domino effect. Should Real Madrid genuinely pursue Konate, Liverpool would almost automatically need to accelerate their agreement with Palace over Guehi to avoid being left short in the team's most vulnerable area. And if Milan managed to tempt Joe Gomez with an attractive offer, the situation would become even more urgent. In other words, a chessboard is being set behind the scenes, and at its centre is Mark Guehi, a player who, just a few months ago, seemed like nothing more than a postponed dream, but who could now become the decisive piece in a silent revolution orchestrated by Arne Slot.
Within the club, expectations are growing that January will mark the beginning of a new defensive era. Guehi, with his presence, leadership and consistency, is seen as someone who could provide the team with a solid foundation on which to build the future. Arne Slot wants a more modern, intense and aggressive defensive system, and Guehi fits that profile perfectly. Furthermore, the player's age, in the midst of his rise and with many years of top-level football ahead, makes him a long-term investment, likely to yield returns for years to come. This is not just about plugging gaps, it is about building a legacy. For Liverpool supporters, Guehi's potential arrival represents more than a simple reinforcement. It is a clear signal that the club is prepared to act boldly and intelligently to remain competitive at the pinnacle of European football. After the frustration of last summer, when they watched the deal collapse right before their eyes, the thought of finally seeing him step onto Anfield ignites equal parts excitement and curiosity. There is an atmosphere of expectation in the air, as if everyone knows that something big is about to happen. All indications are that the next chapter of this saga will be written very soon. The pieces are moving rapidly, and the January window promises to be explosive for Liverpool. Should Real Madrid and Milan come in strongly for Konate and Gomez respectively, the Reds will have to act with surgical precision to secure Guehi before another European giant intervenes. Arne Slot, who has already shown himself to be a shrewd strategist, appears ready to lead this behind-the-scenes dance and turn a past failure into a resounding victory. Football, after all, thrives on second chances, and Marc Guehi may be about to experience the greatest of them. For Liverpool, bringing him in now would be more than a market move. It would be a statement to the world that the Reds are ready to write a new chapter, with a renewed defence, an even more competitive squad, and a future brimming with ambition. January is just around the corner, and all signs suggest that Anfield will be the stage for one of the most intriguing and impactful transfers of the season.
If Liverpool seem to still be finalising the details to strengthen their defence with Marc Guehi, the focus has now shifted to the talents shining on the pitch. While the board and Arne Slot work behind the scenes to secure strategic reinforcements, the season has begun at full throttle for the Reds in the Premier League, and the team is proving that it does not rely solely on new signings to impress. After the frustration with Guehi, fans can rejoice. Some players are already taking on key roles and surprising even the most demanding critics. Among them, Dominik Szoboszlai emerges as a true revelation, proving that Liverpool has pieces capable of balancing talent, versatility, and audacity on the field. Liverpool's start to the season has been almost flawless. Under Arne Slot's guidance, the Reds have secured 12 points from their first 4 games, showing that the new coach's philosophy is taking effect swiftly. It is impossible to ignore how cohesive the team already appears, even with some significant changes to the squad. The arrival of names such as Hugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz has added creativity and depth to the group, while players already part of the squad continue to demonstrate ongoing development. Even with some athletes still readjusting, the sense is that Liverpool is ready to compete at the highest level, much of which is thanks to individual performances that have stolen the spotlight. No example is clearer than Dominik Szoboszlai's performances. The Hungarian international, originally signed by Jurgen Klopp, has always divided opinions regarding his role at Liverpool, but this season he seems to have found a position that values his qualities. Forced to play out a position due to injuries to Conor Bradley, Jeremy Frimpong and Joe Gomez, Szoboszlai was deployed as a right back, a role many would consider unusual for him. However, the player has adapted impressively, offering defensive solidity, keen game vision, and decisive passes that have often changed the course of matches in the Reds' favour. Expert analysis further emphasises Szoboszlai's importance. Ahead of the clash with Burnley, Jamie Carragher, Liverpool's legend, told Sky Sports that the Hungarian has been a genuine revelation. Carragher highlighted that although Szoboszlai has faced criticism in previous seasons for his midfield role, playing at right back seems to have brought out the best in his abilities. He has so much running ability, can go up and down the line, still adds a bit of height to the team, and that fits very well with Slot's style, Carragher commented, underlining the player's versatility. However, not everything is stable for Szoboszlai. Liverpool's first Champions League fixture against Atletico Madrid promises to test the team further. With Bradley, Gomez and Frimpong recovering from injuries, Slot will have options to reinforce the defence, which could mean Szoboszlai is moved back to his natural midfield position. Despite his excellent displays at right back, the Hungarian may not be entirely satisfied with this change, as he has shown himself to be extremely comfortable and influential on the defensive line. Still, his adaptability demonstrates that Liverpool has players capable of facing any tactical challenge posed by opponents. What makes this situation even more exciting is the combination of transfer room activity and individual brilliance on the pitch.
While the club rushes to secure Guehi and bolster the defence in January, players like Szoboszlai show that Liverpool does not rely solely on signings to maintain an exceptionally high level of competitiveness. It is a perfect balance between strategic planning and talent on the field. Every victory, every decisive pass, and every tactical adaptation reinforces confidence that the Reds can compete for every title, even in a season that has begun with significant changes.
Moreover, Szoboszlai's performances highlight the winning mentality Arne Slot is instilling at Liverpool. The Dutch coach has not only reorganized the team, but also managed to extract the best from every player, even those playing out of their natural positions. This tactical flexibility, combined with the coach's discipline and vision, ensures that Liverpool does not rely solely on future reinforcements, but also capitalizes on talent already available, creating a more unpredictable and difficult-to-face team. It is precisely this combination of planning and performance that has allowed the season to start so positively, keeping fans and experts glued to every match. With the Champions League approaching and the January transfer window on the horizon, Liverpool finds itself at a decisive moment. The anticipation surrounding Guehi and Szoboszlai's emergence shows that the club is wisely balancing its priorities, strengthening the defence without losing the rhythm and talent already evident on the pitch. For fans, this means a season full of excitement, strategic opportunities, and above all, a team capable of surprising. Szoboszlai is just one example of what is to come. The blend of planned reinforcements and emerging players promises to make Liverpool one of the main protagonists of 2025, both in the Premier League and in Europe.